a bustling city, there lived a young man named Arian. He was ambitious, full of ideas, and had dreams bigger than life itself. Arian wanted to become a great entrepreneur, someone who would change the world with his innovations. However, Arian had one habit that often held him back: he talked too much about his plans. Whenever Arian had a new idea or goal, he would eagerly share it with his friends, family, and even casual acquaintances. He loved the admiration and encouragement he received from others. Their words of praise made him feel as if he had already accomplished something great. But despite his endless discussions about his ambitions, Arian struggled to turn his dreams into reality. One evening, while walking through a quiet park, Arian met an elderly businessman named Mr. Mehta. Mr. Mehta was a retired entrepreneur known for his wisdom and success. He had seen Arian many times, always talking enthusiastically about his future ventures. That day, Mr. Mehta stopped Arian and asked, "Young man, you always speak of your grand plans, but have you achieved any of them yet?" Arian hesitated. He had planned so much, but very little had materialized. He replied, "Sir, I try my best, but things don't always go as expected." Mr. Mehta smiled knowingly and said, "Let me tell you a story that might help you understand why." Long ago, in a distant village, there was a blacksmith named Rajan. He was poor but hardworking and dreamed of crafting the finest swords in the kingdom. Every day, Rajan worked in his small forge, perfecting his skills. But he had one rule: he never spoke about his ambitions to anyone. People often asked, "Rajan, why do you work so hard?" But he would simply smile and say, "You will see when the time is right." Years passed, and Rajan slowly built a reputation for his exceptional craftsmanship. One day, the king himself heard of Rajan's skills and summoned him to the palace. The king was so impressed with Rajan's work that he appointed him as the royal blacksmith, granting him wealth and honor. When Rajan's childhood friend visited him, he asked, "Why did you never tell anyone about your goals?" Rajan replied, "Because when you talk too much about your dreams, two things happen. First, people discourage you. Not everyone will believe in your vision. Second, when you speak about your goal, your mind gets a false sense of achievement, and you lose the motivation to truly work for it." Hearing this, Arian fell silent. He realized that he had been making the same mistake. He had been wasting his energy talking instead of acting. Mr. Mehta continued, "Arian, when you speak too much, you give away your power. Instead, let your actions speak for you. Focus on the work, not the words." Determined to change, Arian decided to follow Mr. Mehta's advice. He stopped discussing his plans with everyone and instead focused on execution. He worked tirelessly on his startup ideas, dedicated himself to learning, and avoided unnecessary distractions. Months passed, and Arian noticed a difference. He was making real progress. His business, which once existed only in his words, was now taking shape. Investors started noticing his efforts, and soon, he secured funding for his first major project. When he launched his startup, it became an instant success. People were amazed at his transformation. His friends, who once heard him talk endlessly about his dreams, now saw him achieving them. One day, a journalist interviewed Arian and asked, "What is the secret behind your success?" Arian smiled and remembered Mr. Mehta's words. He simply said, "Speak less, work more. Let your success make the noise." Years later, Arian became one of the most influential entrepreneurs in the country. His story inspired countless young dreamers, teaching them the invaluable lesson that true success comes not from words, but from relentless action. Sometimes, silence is the most powerful tool. Speak less, act more, and let your achievements tell your story.